anything to cover this. Until there's more evidence, there's more proof. And even if you got 2 or 3 scientists to come forward, that's still not enough. People want hardcore facts. They want things they can photograph, things they can touch, and things they can verify. And because of the secrecy involved, even if that was about to happen, it would, it would be squashed by the government under the guise of national security. No, you can't air that special. No, you can't do this, so on and so forth. So I don't think it's going to come out until they decide that they want it out.
Can the American people handle the truth?
I think so. The American people can handle a lot. It may not be what they want to hear. It may interfere with a lot of their current beliefs. But we adjust to everything. We really do. I think they're really underrating us.
That probably goes for the rest of the world too, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
The room next door, he has here, Don, looks like a chemical laboratory or something.
Oh, yeah, that's a lab.
Okay, I want to ask him about what's in the room next door. It looks like a lab.
There's been millions of sightings. My wife and I have seen a couple of things ourselves that were absolutely unexplainable. What do you think with all that sightings, there's just so few actual photographs and most of them are blurry. Has that got something to do perhaps with the way the craft operates? Or is it just the fact that when people see it, they don't see it that long and there wasn't camera equipment available? What's your opinion on that?
Well, there's 2 points you made. First of all is having any equipment available. Usually a sighting is exactly what you say, a sighting. It's an event that happens, it's over. How many photographs do you have of car accidents? How many photographs have you seen of car accidents? Other than at the drag strip, because we know something's going to happen, but just out on the road, you never have one.
No, that's true.
It's because the event happens and it's over. Now, the only reason you know about it or the news crew gets there because it stays there after it happened, but the actual accident, there are no photographs of because it's a fleeting event. And any fleeting event, that's something that you don't see. And a lot of people harp on that saying, well, there's no photographs of them flying. Well, it happened for 2 seconds. What do you want from us? Even if you got a camcorder in your hand, who says you're going to be, looking at the thing? On top of that, because these crafts operate using a gravitational engine, the gravity itself distorts light and space and time. And all that stuff sounds, again, like science fiction and something that's difficult to believe. But we know that gravity bends light, bends space, and bends time. And because of that factor, there are, for instance, on the craft that I worked under, I was told that from certain vantage points underneath the craft, you can't see the craft, you can only see the sky above it because the light is bent around the craft. So there certainly could be situations where you could see something and someone 20 or 30 feet away from you could be looking at a clear blue sky and not see it. It's just the way things happen.
Will broadcasting this interview get you or I in any trouble?
What was that? I missed it.
Will broadcasting this interview get you or I in any trouble?
I don't think so. It's been about, like I said, almost 10 years, and this has been on the news and gone over a bunch of times, and I think it's pretty much staying where it is. I don't see any problems.
So nobody's going to be calling up ESPN saying, don't run that piece.
Well, if they do, it wouldn't really surprise me.
Okay, Don, ask him about his room next door.
Bob, what's in the room next door here?
Oh, that's my lab in here. I do a lot of independent research or consultation, anything science-related, physics-related, along with computer modeling, anything along those lines.
You told me you were just you were designing or did the computer work on a rocket car that's going to go 900 miles an hour.
Well, I have a friend. His name is Waldo Stakes, and him and a rocket engineer, Ken Mason, built this car. And I believe this winter they're going to start running it. It's called Sonic Wind, and it's slated to go over 900 miles on ice. I believe the ice speed record's only in 200 some odd miles an hour. So I ran a couple of simulations on my computer and just to see how the thing would perform. But it should be very interesting to see that. It's a liquid oxygen, a LOX alcohol powered rocket. In fact, the rocket's a booster off an Atlas rocket, one of those old rockets from the 50s. But it's quite a machine.
I'd like to get you to look at my swamp rat 32 and 4 and see how it looks aerodynamic in here, because you've got a lot of experience in aerodynamics.
Yeah, to some extent.
And see if I was on the right track, and maybe give me some tips there.
Well, it couldn't hurt to run it through the computer.
I think we'll do that. Well, Bob, it's been great talking with you, and thanks a million. I know from myself and all of my fans, we really thank you for doing this interview. It's certainly been enlightening.
Well, it was my pleasure.
Well, on that, tell what you can do. Tell us a little bit about in the briefing room, because you had that on your tape. Tell us a little bit what happened when you went into this room. Tell us about the briefing room and some of the things that happened in there.
There wasn't a whole lot. It was a small room. It was. I was essentially left with a bunch of briefings, 120 some odd. I no longer can even remember how many. And basically, they just contained a small overview of each satellite project that was going on. So we all knew the existence of each other. We just didn't know specifically what they were doing. For instance, there was a group that was dealing with the metallurgy of the craft. There was a group dealing with, virtually every aspect of it. So again, it gave us just an overview of what was going on and the name of some of the projects, as I'm sure they had specific information dealing with their project and just had a small overview of what our group was working on. So that's basically all it was just reading through a lot of that, and along with some of the other information that was apparently collected from the craft, or information that they had learned in the past.
What can you tell us about any bodies of alien beings?
Well, there apparently were some somewhere. There were some autopsy pictures of a being. Now, I don't know if that had to do, if this was something that was just in the history of the project, or if it was something that was there, or if it was something that had to relate, to this craft. But of the two photographs that I saw, there were only two there. It was a small being just showing the chest, and the chest was cut in a T fashion with the skin pulled back, and it was the thing had just one central organ, as if that looked. Have you ever seen a liver in the supermarket? Just kind of a brown, almost liquid-looking thing, but it had just one central organ, and then the next photographs had the organ vivisectioned, and it seemed like all the organs you normally had just grown together. There was a section of it that apparently pumped blood, another section of it that processed air, and it just seemed, to be one single organ, as opposed to little separate units here and there. But it was, and again, there was no information with it. We were just given the information knowing of the existence, just in case any information might help us in determining, what our particular project did. For instance, we were working in the power and propulsion system. There was no reason for us to have a tour of the inside of the craft. However, maybe the placement of the reactor was important to its operation, so we did have to see where it was. We did have to see some satellite things around what was going on.